Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial, and today we are going to work on our front mesh here, and we're probably going to be doing very similar to what we did on the rear section. So firstly, on the rear section what we did was we created our panels here which kind of support the mesh section, and what we're going to need to do for the front is we're going to need to do the same. So we're going to need to have some kind of mesh section going through there as well. Now what I'm going to do in this episode, which I did a little bit different, which I'm going to do a little bit different to the last episode, is firstly I'm going to center the pivot here of my grill mesh that we created in the last episode, and I'm going to bring this exactly into the middle by holding X and snapping it to the grid. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because last time it was hard to position because we had one edge here further out on this side, so it meant that we couldn't select one edge, the other edge, and get it in position. It made it a little bit awkward for myself, so I'm just going to pull that into position there, and so that will be fine. But what we're going to do first is we're going to drag that out of the way because we don't want that just yet. What we're going to want to do is we are going to want to bring across our section inside here, and we're going to do this in the exact same fashion as before, so I'm probably going to speed up a little bit of this. What we're going to be doing is we are going to create a plane. That plane is going to run across this section here. I think when we actually made this bumper, going all the way back down to episode 1, we made it in such a way that our section where our mesh actually sits comes all the way up to the edge, so that'll be nice and easy to snap this section too. So what we'll do is exactly like we did the rear in the last episode. We're going to bring this to the front, and we're going to take this down here to 1 subdivision width and 1 subdivision height. Perfect. Now we'll bring this into position. Now I believe what we need to do is we're going to need to go all the way along the top and around the sides, and then we're going to need to come down under here, and then I believe it actually bridges the gap here. Should have my reference images open here. Yeah, so we can see here that it goes up and over here. It does look like maybe it's got a little bit of a lip, so maybe each of these sections are somewhat separate, but we can see we've got quite a big lip, and then we've got a secondary indentation around there which actually matches up to all of this. So I think what we'll do is we'll do this probably in separate stages. We'll do one section that's going to run as this main bit here, and then what we'll do is we'll extrude up on that, and then that will be the edge that we take around the sides and up the top. So we're going to work on the bottom section first, and then we'll work around the top area. So I think it'll be easier to start over here. And what I'll do, guys, I'm going to just put this together. Like I said, it's just like we have done in the past, and I'll fast forward this here and then we'll get back to it soon. Okay guys, so what I did there was I ran across this outside edge here for the little lip section there. I extruded it in and I made it match the correct elements of our blueprints here. A lot of them I kind of had to guesstimate, so a few of the points that I could see I kind of just put in between what I felt like it should have been, and that to me is looking pretty decent so far. Now what we need to do is we're going to need to extrude this section up again. Now we're not going to want to take the middle here, I believe, because it looks like what we're going to want to do is have a section in here which is going to actually extrude up here and match. So I believe it's going to go from this point here up all around the top, obviously, but it's not actually going to lip out in this section here. So I think what we'll want to do then here is we are going to want to insert an edge loop. So we'll bring that in and we'll drop that there. So that's going to be our section that goes up. Now to me it looks like it's going to be a slightly pointed section potentially. Well, maybe we could add that in after, so that should be fine just there. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab all these sections here and we're just going to extrude them up a bit just to be the kind of area that's going to run up that section of the grill. So we're going to hit Control E on that. We're just going to extrude up just to match that step there, but we're not going to go too high because we don't want to have quite a beefy section here. Bring that down there. Now, I think what we're going to need to do here is we are going to need to merge this part over here. Looks like. Okay. So we're going to want to do something like that. So we're going to want to do something like that, and then we're going to extrude this edge up here because this is going to go all the way around this edge and into the middle. So we're going to want to follow the exact same process that we've just done. So we're going to want to maybe pull this around here, and then we'll extrude this edge, and this is going to essentially go all the way over here. So I'm going to speed this bit up again. I'm going to go through here and just merge them all to this inside edge that we created many moons ago, and then we'll be ready to extrude in and start positioning. Well, maybe we'll smooth it off and then we'll start positioning the actual mesh itself. Okay guys, so we are looking pretty good now. I've gone around all that edge there, just doing that outline through. We can see now we've got that nice section there for the grill kind of divided a little bit. So we've got all this running around here, which is looking good. Now what essentially I did was I snapped all these parts up here, as you saw, just like we did down there. Merged the lower vertices to the one that I snapped and just pulled it down a little bit, just to ensure that that is straight on the y-axis there. Just to make sure that if that's straight, then you know that they're all going to be roughly in the same angle. If you guys feel that you'd like to have it arched in a little bit, now would be a good time to grab all the edges and pull them in, but I think here we're doing pretty good. So I'm going to select all of this section here, and I'm going to hit Ctrl E, and we're going to extrude in again. And the reason we're going to do that is because this is where our grill is actually going to sit. It's actually going to sit on this area here for us. So that's looking pretty good. On this interior, this other section, other side should I say, is I'm going to take all of these points too and extrude these in as well. Just down here. So I'm going to hit Ctrl E there. And on the world axes, I'm going to bring those in. I'm going to bring them just roughly to the same spot, same depth. So now we're going to want to see about getting this smoothed out. Now in order to smooth this nicely, what we're also going to need to do is get all of these outside edges here. Now we don't want any of these interior edges that we've just done, or the center edge. So I want to deselect all of these here. We've already sorted these ones out. And what we're going to do is we're going to extrude in. So making sure that we've got all the exterior faces there, but none of the central and the ones that we've just done. So all of those, it's fine. Okay. We're going to hit Ctrl E here as well. And on the world axis we're going to bring that in. Now the reason we're doing this is because if we was to try and smooth these without going in the edges here, we're going to probably come in the same distance. What would actually happen is that we would still maintain the jaggy bit going around the edge here. So where we've got fairly jaggy geometry just now because I haven't smoothed yet, we would maintain that on the bottom side, which we don't want. So we've extruded in there just to make sure we can get that nice and smooth. And what we'll do here is we're going to hit 3 on the bumper, and we're going to hit 3 on this element here, and we're going to just quickly smooth this out. So it's already looking pretty decent, but you can see one problem is obviously we're inset here. So what we want to do firstly is we want to get some geometry on these exterior edges. Now before do that, let's get some edge loops all around the front edge here and all around this edge here. Try and maintain that, and then we'll drop an edge here just to try and hold that geometry in place a little bit better, and so we can smooth that out. Okay, so we can see that that sits a whole lot better just there, so we can see that's holding that form quite nice. We can see as well coming up and around here that's looking pretty good right off the bat too, which is good. Okay, we'll also want to grab some more edge loops here. I'm going to want to do something similar around these edges here, and we'll maintain that section there, and then we'll also go on the inside here. Like so. I think what we'll do is we'll run around this bit too. Pull this point up, just right up into that corner there. Okay, so we're looking a little bit better now as we go up and around that section. Now it looks like we need to have a look down here. I think what we'll want to do for this is find the edge loops. So I think what we'll want to do potentially is have a look at dropping in a loop just there. So we see that's pulled that perfectly into position there for us. Maybe we could drop another one just underneath as well, just to help maintain. Everywhere else is looking pretty good. Now, I think what we'll want to do is we'll want to drag a loop just there and one just here, just to help maintain. Do the same there as well. I think what we'll want to do whilst we've got this smooth option selected is this section here is a little bit thicker. So I think what we'll do is we'll just pull that down just here. And we'll do the same with the soft selection here. So pull that down as well, just there. Okay, so that's looking really good now, just under there. Okay, I'm going to hold D here. I'm going to pull the pivot right into the center. So I'm just going to hold D whilst this item is selected. That's going to allow me just to adjust the pivot position. I'm just going to drop that exactly in the middle there, and we will edit and duplicate special. Now the duplicate special settings that I've got, just in case you guys have changed, is the same as what we had in the previous tutorial. We've got an instance here, we've got a scale of -1 on the x-axis there, and because the pivot was in the middle, that's just spun that around there to the other side. So if we smooth both of those out there, that's looking pretty good. Okay, so happy with that. We've got that looking pretty good just in here. Now what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to bring in our actual mesh. So we've got a really good section inside there now. So we're going to want to bring this mesh down and into position just in front of our car. So we'll use our front view here just to get this in nicely. So we want it to cover all of the sections there that we know we want to contain some mesh. And we'll do exactly what we did last time, and we're going to grab our faces here, and we're just going to delete all of the ones that we don't actually need right off the bat, so that'll be fine. Now, we're not going to delete anymore, we're going to leave that as it is. We're going to get it in position, in the actual position we're going to want it. So I think where we'll want this is the center of this we'll want about here. Again, it looks like we're slightly rotated, so we'll put that just there like that. That's pretty good. And I think, judging by that position there, that's about where we want it. Cool. So, let's get these sections pulled in now. So we're going to select our vertices here. And we're going to select the most external vertices here, and we're going to hit B so we can get that soft selection going. Now I think we're going to want quite a decent fall off radius here, so back inside our tool set settings here, and under our soft selection let's try boosting this up to 5, maybe 4.8. Okay, let's give this a go. So we're going to want to pull this out a little bit here just so that we've got some curve in our middle section, so you can see that's curving there quite nicely. So get some curve around here. Now we want to make sure that we're actually curving all the way to the extra ridges that we actually created inside here. So we know we want to keep going here. So it looks like we actually want to take this in to about here. Okay, so that looks good for this top section. So now we're going to select our vertices again, and this time we're going to take our fall off radius down, and we want it so it's less then our extra sections here. So let's go for 4. Say 3.3. Good. 3.3 looks good just for now. So what we want to kind of do with the rest of this mesh is just keep it inside this extra line that we have here. So that looks pretty good there. And we'll take the fall off radius down again. This time we'll go for 2. Maybe a bit more than that, 2.6. Looks good. I think at this point we actually want to come back out a little bit. So I actually want to bring that back out. Maybe let's try 3. 3 looks good there. And now we want to go back in again. This time let's try 1.2. And let's try 1.5. Okay, that should be good. So we can push that in there. So we've got that going all the way around. Just make sure we're not going in too far at some of these points. Okay, that looks good to me. And what we're going to do again, it doesn't look like we've rotated quite enough, so I'm going to pull it out a little bit and let's rotate just a little bit more here. So we've still got that curve that we want. I think we want to rotate so that we can get this top section. So we can get this top section here in position. Let's go a little bit better. Maybe I'll rotate back slightly. And what we'll do is with our vertices soft selection here, maybe we will, in our front view, maybe I'll grab all of these here and try to reflect the same there. I need a little bit more. Okay. We'll pull these forward here. It's looking good. Okay, that's looking good to me. But I think what I'm going to want to do is I am going to want to grab looks like just back just a little bit there. So it looks like maybe with this front section it's actually a little bit of a different mesh that we have there. Okay, so it looks like we're going to have a different front section here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all of the faces with soft selection turning off by hitting B. I think I'm going to grab all the faces that I would require for that section. Grab all of those there. But I am going to leave all of the ones that I don't need behind. Do the same here, because these would be deleted anyway, so it's all good. Now I'm actually just going to hit B real quick for the soft selection, just to make sure that we're not protruding too much. Okay. And I'm going to hit I'm going to hit Edit Mesh and Extract. So I'm going to extract all of these faces here from the rest of the mesh. Okay. So I'm going to grab these ones here. I'm going to modify and I'm going to center the pivot. And I'm going to drag these forward and I'm going to rotate them back so that they're straighter. I'm just going to position them so that they're following the curve. So they're roughly following the curve there. Okay. Rotate them back just a little bit there. Okay, that looks fine. So we've got slightly different mesh inside here. And what we'll do with this is we'll delete all of the faces to this mesh that we don't want to see, just like we did with the rear section and just like we'll do with our main section here. Oops. Okay, so we got our bottom mesh there looking pretty good, and actually it looks good. Quite actually like the different layers that we have there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same again for the front here. We're going to delete any faces that we don't need. Okay guys, so I took out absolutely as much of that grill as humanly possible there because I want to make sure that we're doing the best we can when it comes to our poly count here and our render times and all that good stuff. So happy with the way that that's looking just there. I've got a nice grill inside, and that's just really set off the front end there. It's really brought it together. You see that we've got that nice depth inside. I actually like the two stages there that we ended up working with, which is looking pretty good. And like I said, that looks, in my opinion, pretty good. So we've got our section here, which is again bringing it away, because we can see that we've got our main step that comes across here, the main part of the design, like we see in the car. But we're never going to get mesh really attached to something like this. We can see on the inside that we've got the mesh attached to an interior edge, which is pretty much what it would be on a vehicle anyway, because what a lot of vehicle modelers get wrong as they're doing things like this is they attach glass to bodyworks, like we've discussed, they attach grills to bodyworks and things like that. And the stuff that really sets off this kind of hard surface modeling here is all of the small details. So if we didn't have these extra insets here and these extra trims and things like that, it's going to look pretty bare in terms of the actual model itself. So that's looking pretty good. We've got a whole lot of new dynamic to that front end there, which is awesome. So in the next episode, I think what we'll do is we will work on the wing mirrors. That means that this model will be pretty much render ready once we've gone around the trims of the windows as well. We also need to do some loose ends, which is, like I said, the trims around the window. Maybe we'll get the window wiper in there as well. We've got the sections of the diffuser which drop down to help with the airflow, and then we've also got the exhaust to do as well. So hopefully we'll get the majority of those done in one episode, and that'll just be a case that in the next episode we will do the headlights, the wing mirrors, then we can do all the trims and random things, random jobs, and then finally we can get a look at the wheels, and I think we will then be good to go. Cool. Okay guys, so hopefully yours is looking as good as this one here. I'm pretty pleased with how this has turned out so far. Probably not one of the best, most detailed models that I've ever done, but so far it's looking pretty good. Hopefully your mesh has come out as well as this. If it hasn't, just make sure you leave a comment below asking any help that I can give you in the comment section. I will do. Okay guys, cool.